40 minutes. Like, I made a video, and then I just sat down smoking. Sun's all in my face, so like I gotta squint a little bit. But I was thinking about how like we don't have to do anything. You know how like people think that they have to do, but they don't. Like, and then the things they want to do, they don't do because they don't think they have to do. Those are just wants, right? Like, but what if some of your wants, not all of your wants, because some wants are just like ego wants, but what if some of those wants were really like soul needs? Like, things that your soul needs. And like, it's probably about to be windy, so I don't want to have too much wind hitting the mic, but it might happen, unless I want to move over there, but I don't know. And like I stress that there's nothing special about me, right? Because there's not. You know, it's real. I'm just a human. But there's nothing special about Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or Gary Vaynerchuk or like, and I mean this is controversial, but there's nothing special about Jesus or Buddha either, right? Like, I guess I'll get out the wind, but like, I don't know. I got this slight, like, I guess you wouldn't say irritated, but slightly bothered thing where like, there's no way to truly like give the thing to people, right? You kind of have to find the thing within yourself. So like anyone that wants to be an entrepreneur, they have to find that thing within themselves. Like, it doesn't matter how many entrepreneurs you listen to on the internet. Like, you kind of just have to find yourself, build yourself, to put yourself together, have an idea and then try it. Like, just because it's the only way. Like, because there really is nothing that we have to do. We're just doing. We're here, we exist, we're alive. We might as well do something with it, right? Like, but so many people get caught up doing what they think they have to do. Like, do we have to do what society tells us to do? Do we have to do, like, and like I said, people got dreams. They got big dreams. They got things they want to do, but they don't even do the things they want to do because they're stuck doing the things that they think they have to do. And I emphasize on the word think, because most of the shit that we think is not real. We think up of imaginary walls that are in front of us, that it's like, we can't pass this wall. And it's like, why? Says who? Like, who says that's what life is? Who says that's what we have to do? Who says? Society? Our family? Our loved ones? Our friends? Other humans? At the end of the day, it's just other humans, but they have the same brain that we have. They have the same consciousness that we have. So what we want to do is just as valid as what they think we have to do. Like, but I don't know. I just feel like people just don't believe in themselves enough, like in that way. Like, people believe in society more than they believe in themselves. You know, like, I don't know. I think it's about believing in yourself. Like, at the end of the day, it's about believing in yourself. You have an idea, believe in that shit. You have a belief, a thing, stand on that shit. Like, You say, oh, that's what you want to do? Then go do that thing. And like, just keep trying. I don't know. It's not that complicated, is the crazy thing. It's really not. It's so simple that it's almost too simple. It's a decision to be like, okay, I'm not doing that, but I am doing that. And then other people are going to be in your ear saying either you're doing it wrong, or you shouldn't do that, or like, I know this is controversial to say, but I'm going to say it anyways. I was smoking weed way before it became legal. So I was smoking cannabis way before it was legal. So it's like I had my own idea of saying, oh, there's nothing wrong with smoking a plant. There's nothing wrong with growing a plant, right? Just because society says it's wrong doesn't mean it's wrong. At one point, that same society that says, oh, this is wrong, is the same exact society that once used to say slavery was okay. Like, so like, were they just wrong with the slavery thing? How many other things are they wrong about? How many other things do humans have a common sense thing to be like, okay, there's nothing wrong with this? But then they still follow it because it's the law. And I'm not telling you to break the law, but I am also saying psychedelics are illegal, right? I wouldn't be the man I am today if I didn't use them. So like, I used something that was illegal for me to use, and it helped me become the best version of myself. Like, don't you find that fucking stupid? Like, don't you find that crazy? That, like, if I chose to follow every fucking thing that the world tells me to follow, I would not be me? Like, and I'm not telling people to break the law. I just do what I do, right? And like, I don't know. I'd take the risk. I'm willing to accept the sacrifices. Like, because the consequence of me not being me not doing what I feel like I should be doing, that is a worse consequence than any consequence society could give me. Like, if I was forced to be the man that I was 6-7 years ago, or that gangster thug dude that I was, like, is that what society wants me to be? You know, like, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they want us to be. Like, do they want us just to be like stupid so then we can just work jobs without thinking, so we can pay our taxes, so the government can keep doing whatever they want to do? So like, it gives us no time to truly awaken our consciousness, to truly become who we want to be. Like, when do we have time to work on our souls? When do we have time to, like, I can see why so many people are not in shape. Like, because it's like, when do you have time to work out? When you have to pay all these bills and do all this shit, right? And like, I also understand why people are not willing to sacrifice. Like, I don't know. I don't have a car payment because I don't have a car. I don't have a house payment because I don't own a house. I live in a, projects thing, so it's cheap. But how many people are willing to move to the projects just to have cheaper rent? Like, I don't know. There's just like, it's like there's an ultimatum. It's like, as soon as we're born, there's an ultimatum. You follow what society wants you to do, or you follow your soul. And like, I don't know. I know I'm just rambling on at this point, but like, that's just what was on my mind, because this is what I was going to make a video about. But where the fuck is my vape? Hey, Dean Darklight, what's going on, bro? I'm all out of my... I drank all my Kool-Aid. That sucks balls. Solar Power African Vegan. You're actually not late at all, bro. I literally just started. Like, I just hit the vape right when I, whatever, and then went on this little ramble because I was going to make a video, but I was like, well, I might as well just live stream instead. It's kind of windy, so like, trying to stay out the wind. I don't know why it just got so windy. Because it wasn't this windy just like right before I turned the camera on. I was sitting right there for like 40 minutes and it wasn't really windy at all. Oh, Dean Darklight, that's fucking dope. Says, I live off grid, deep in the woods, off of Ozark Mountains. I have no house because I have 20 dogs. I'm working on building something. Fuck yeah. I feel you. Me too. For me, it's so hard to English what the fuck I'm trying to build, right? Like, because eventually I'd like to get to that point. Like, me, my daughter, and my mother have talked about, like, you know, if we can get to a point where we can just buy some land and then, like, we can get, like, 3 tiny homes on the land. You know, maybe it doesn't even need to be a tiny home. Because some tiny homes are more expensive than I feel like if we was just to build a small home. Like, so, you know, I'll think about that when I get there. But, like, I just feel like I have this thing I want to go towards. And, like, that's kind of why I was talking about what I was talking about in the beginning. Because, like, man, if I listened to society, I wouldn't have had anything to go towards but what society is pushing me towards. And, like, it's, like, I kind of get the whole term break out the matrix. Because, like, instead of looking at it literally, if you looked at it like the matrix being society has this whole idea of what you should be, of what you should do, of yada yada yada, and breaking out of it is like seeing it, and then you can come up with your own ideas of what you want to do. How do you want to spend your life, right? Like, but it's not easy. And society, being that it seems like the matrix, it's like it makes it hard to get out of the matrix. And then that Mr. Smith effect shit is so crazy because, like, in the movie The Matrix, they had Mr. Smith, but on Earth, Mr. Smith will come out of people as soon as you tell them, oh, you know, I'd rather be poor for a little while so I can work on my mind and heal my mental health and, like, work on my spiritual journey. That sounds absolutely batshit crazy. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to be poor for a little while. I'm okay with having little. You know, I'm okay with these things because I'm working towards something that's different than what society is doing. And it's like, that just sounds crazy. It sounds whatever. But it's funny because people do it with normal shit. You tell someone, hey, I want to get rich, right? And, like, if you're serious about it, you're like, yo, I seriously want to get rich. So then, therefore, you start working 3-4 jobs, right? You're working 3 or 4 jobs at once. You're saving most of the money. You're then starting businesses. You're then doing this. You're then doing that. People are going to judge you. Like, they're like, whoa, buddy, what are you doing? You're taking all these risks, you know. Why don't you just do, you know, what we do over here? Because then it's not as risky. And it's like, that's like the Mr. Smith coming out of everybody. Because, like, and it's not like, in a like a mean way or whatever. I can't think of the word, but like it's more like people are just worried because at the end of the day, they are where they are because they chose to be, and it's like we all are. Like we all are where we are because subconsciously or consciously we chose to be. So like maybe someone wanted to start a business, but then it didn't work for them. So now they, work a job, like a normal job, but it's a good paying job. So then when you say to them, hey, I want to start a business, they're immediately thinking about their failure and how it didn't work for them. So they don't want you to feel that pain and suffering of trying something and then it doesn't work. But like, my perspective is, I think we need that pain. Like, I only think that because the breakup I went through. Like, it's not just the psychedelics that helped me. Like, it's the pain and suffering of life. The pain of wanting something, and then, well, doesn't matter how bad you want it, you ain't getting it. That sucks. Like, that pain sucks. But you can learn so much from it that it's, like, incredible. So, I think you can learn a lot from starting a business and then failing, right? And then, like, if you can handle failure, then you can fail 100 times because you only need to succeed one time. That's it. So, like, you just need to succeed at one thing different than what the fuck everyone else is doing, right? And it's like, it could be as simple as just getting in shape. Like, you could still work a normal job, right? But that don't mean you have to be like everyone else who works a normal job. Like depressed, anxious, miserable, hates their life, like out of shape, yada yada. Like, no, you can work a normal job and still love your fucking life, right? Because you haven't attached your life to your job. Your job is just what you do to pay your bills. Your life is what you do outside of your job. And if you have a good life that you love to live, like outside of your job, you're not going to care if you have a job because you love your life anyways. Like, it's a perspective shift, but like, that perspective shift is like outside of society. Because like, it's almost normal in society to have depression or to have anxiety or to have, it's normal to hate your life. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy that we've allowed that to get normal. Because to me, it was like I used to wake up every day saying I hate my life. I've been there. But now it's like, bro, I just was like, yo, I just probably should start changing shit, doing what I love more, right? Like, I don't know. As simple as I came out here to just sit down, I was sitting my happy ass down, smoking, and just looking at that. Staring at that for 40 minutes a day is beautiful. Like, I don't know. Dean Darklight says I need to start working out and quit smoking weed. Weed is fucking my lungs up. I guess it depends on how clean the weed is or what you're smoking. Because I only smoke like pure cannabis distillates. So it's like, it's a pure molecule. Like, you can see through it. Like, so it doesn't really damage my lungs. But when I was smoking a lot of flower, especially when I was smoking Dutches, like when I was rolling my cannabis into tobacco wraps, it was fucking my lungs up. But whatever sickness I had 2 weeks ago, a week ago, fucked my lungs up. Like, I was so sick I could barely breathe. And even now, it still affects me a little bit, but like, it's so much better than it was a week ago. Oh, eating it would be dope too. Dean Darklight says I'm gonna start eating the oil. The only difference with eating it is it literally turns into a different molecule. So it like, I like it because it lasts longer. You know, and if you do a light edible, like a light dose edible, you could be high for like 8 hours. So it's like almost a whole day of being high. I have this edible that I make where I can turn cannabis into a psychedelic experience. So it's like, and it's more, and to me, it's even more powerful than an LSD experience, like, or just as powerful, just in different ways. So I would take like cannabis shatter or crumble or like any like cannabis extract like that, anywhere between a 0.5 to a 0.9. Okay, so no, yeah, I think that's right, because it's almost a gram. A 0.9 is almost a full gram of cannabis oil. So that's for one dose. Okay, one person's drinking that whole thing. I mix that and brew that into some like milk. Okay, some like chocolate milk, and then I'll brew it, mix it in, and I'll also put a little cannabis flower, like cannabis bud, and I also throw that in there as well. Brew that in with it as well, right? And then after it's all brewed for like 2 hours, like slow brewed, like lightly, light heat, but for a while, then I'll, take the cannabis bud out of it, and then you just drink it. That shit is on another level, bro. Like, if someone cannot handle anxiety, they cannot handle that, because it is the most anxious thing I have ever experienced in my life. Like, I mean, like, and it's so strong, so powerful that you kind of have to fight the sleep. But if you fight the sleep of it, then you can experience this insane psychedelic-like experience that is more anxious feeling than LSD, or more anxious feeling than anything I've ever experienced. Like, it's more anxious feeling than an actual real anxiety attack. But I love it. Okay, I love it because the psychedelic aspect of it is you have to face that anxiety. You have to face that shit, or your option is go to sleep. If you go to sleep, you won't feel that anxiety anymore, right? You'll just go to sleep. But the real thing I like to do with it is stay awake and just face that feeling. Sit in that feeling. Let that feeling just take over my body. And I'm just, I might be jamming the music, whatever, and try to let go to that feeling. And it's like, you have no idea how great you feel if you can make it through that shit without going to sleep, right? And then, like, you made it through, you didn't go to sleep. Like, you'll be so relieved that it's over, but so proud of yourself that you made it through it, that it's like you walk out of that shit a new man. Like, swear to God, like, it builds a mental strength. And, like, I don't know, like, I like experimenting with plants like that, because certain plants give different experiences, but, like, they're not psychedelic, but they're psychedelic-like. Like, the time that I took such a high dose of, like, motherwort mixed with blue lotus, and I also took ormus, that was so euphoric that it became dysphoric, that I just wanted it to end. So I'm laying on the floor, debating on whether I should call 911. Like, but, like, I love experiences like that. Because, like, bro, they build a mental strength. They build something in the mind that psychedelics don't. It's like every psychedelic teaches a different lesson. Well, every plant can also teach a different lesson. They're also teachers in their own way. And it's like, I don't know. I found that, like, everything's fun at low doses. You know, everything, you know, cannabis is just a nice high when you're just smoking it, or you take a light edible, right? Like maybe like 10, 20 milligrams of THC, or even maybe 100 milligrams or 200 milligrams of THC. But once you get past like 700 milligrams of THC, it's a, you know, the whole thing from 700 milligrams up to 900 milligrams of THC. Then with the added THC cannabis bud, it's probably up to about like 1,000 milligrams of THC. But still a full gram. But yeah, I don't know. It's a whole different beast. Dean Darklight says Matthew oil straight up in a pill, so like a capsule, not mixed with food, is the most medical method. No, I definitely agree. But that high dose shit is the shamanic method. Like, if you want to see how mentally strong you are and try to gain more mental strength and literally, like, truly face anxiety at its core, that's the way to go. Like, just like if you want to face yourself at your core, psychedelics are the way to go. You know, like high dose psychedelic experiences, because they give you the ego death. And it's like, I feel like you can get to a point with cannabis when you take a high enough dose where it gives that such a high anxiety feeling that it forces you to either surrender to it and accept it and deal with it, or go to sleep. Like, but I've done it so many times that, like, I know it's a repeatable thing. So like, that's why I was able to be like, well, that's a repeatable experience, that as long as it's like something like shatter or crumble, where it's a high percentage of THC, and I like shatter a little more, like to do that with. But no, 1,000 milligrams is a 0.1 technically. So like 1,000 milligrams is 1 gram. So but that shit is insane. Bro, I'm so thirsty. I definitely shouldn't have drank all my drink already. Maybe I'll just hit this. Ding Darklight says, I don't know, Metric, I thought you live in the woods. I live in a small city in upstate New York, and in upstate New York, there's woods all around. You know, these hills right here, we're literally inside of a bowl. It's like a bowl, because the hills go all around. There's those hills wrap all the way around on that side near my mom's house, and all the way on that side there's another hill. So the whole city is like in a bowl, but beyond this bowl in the hills is nothing but the sticks. Like, you know, and there's other cities and stuff in upstate New York as well. So like, if you go over that hill, you'll see another city that like a little city that is also in a bowl. But I love it out here, though. I love it that it's like, if I want to go in the woods, I can. Like, there's many trails up in the hills and stuff. So, like, and like from my mom's house, it's walking distance. So, like, I could walk to it from my mom's. But then there's also the path down here where, even though there's like trees there, they kind of cut everything to make like this path and this shit. But if you go that way, you can go to a spot where it leads you to like another woods that's kind of on this, just on the edge of the river, where you can go on this long trail. And that's where I had my first 3 LSD experiences, where me and my friends just took LSD and we went down the trail on the river. And bro, I felt like we was lost on some island somewhere. It was trippy as fuck. Like, especially because I didn't really know what to expect with LSD. When I first did it, I didn't really fully grasp it or understand. So I thought it was going to be like DMT for 12 hours. So like I was so uneducated on LSD that I thought it was just some drug. And I'm like, you know, that's like DMT because it's a psychedelic, and I thought it was going to be like that for 12 hours. But I was completely wrong. And you know, LSD is a beautiful tool, like, and it's a tool that I've adapted to my life. And like for the past like 4 years, I've microdosed with LSD almost every week, or at least every other week. You know, sometimes I have real giant trips. Sometimes I'll go on a span where I'll have it like every 2 weeks. But like, because LSD is a great mental tool. It helped me mentally change my thoughts a little easier. Like, when you're stuck in a certain mindset, or you're stuck in a certain thing, it's like, if you take LSD and then face that mindset while you're tripping, it's easier to change it. Or at least it has been for me. That's kind of what I mean, where it's like every one of these things has its own thing that it can teach you. Like the cannabis thing taught me how to like truly just face anxiety, because it's the most anxious thing ever, and like just facing shit, building mental strength. Where like LSD helped me like change my own mindset and actually apply things to my life. Like, DMT might have showed me things and I might have been able to tell you things, but I wasn't able to integrate it into who I actually am. But with LSD, I was able to integrate it into who I am, because once you change your thoughts, you change your habits, you change what you do, you change what you think, your perspective. Like, and once you change your perspective, you will change along with it. So like, I feel like LSD is just easier to integrate with the self and like look at the self. But that's kind of what I meant this whole time. Of like, and like I can't even really explain it, but when I'm like, I want to be a modern day shaman, that's kind of what I meant. That I'm going to use these different tools, these different plants, these different molecules, these different experiences, and go on a shamanic experience with it, which will then teach me things that I can apply to who I am. Like, where now it's just who I am. But I also think it's that Timothy Leary thing. Timothy Leary a while ago said, in the future, it's not going to be about what book you read. It'll be about what molecule you took to expand or retract your consciousness. So like, he was looking at it like, in the future, like what I've been doing, that humans will start using molecules just like they use books to gain knowledge and to then maybe be able to apply that knowledge. Like, Hey, Green Buds, what's going on, bro? He says it's deep how 1 gram of flour and 1 gram of flour and edible is such a big difference. Right, I feel you. Smoking 1 gram of flour and then taking a gram of it in an edible, complete different, yeah. Green Buds also says each psychedelic and strain is its own book or its own world. Yeah, exactly. I feel you. It literally is like it gives you access to its own world, like its own thing. And, that's kind of why I say plants have their own personality. Because it's like, I'll take a plant and then I'll figure the personality of the plant out once I figure out what it's like. What world does that plant live in? Right? Like, that consciousness of that plant, it lives inside of that thing. We're like, we smoke cannabis and it's like, we're just getting slightly high, but like high doses of it is a whole different experience that most people wouldn't even like. Like, just like you can take a low dose of a psychedelic and it's great. It's fun, colors, trailing, patterns, shapes, it's great. But take a high dose. It's not something most people would like, right? Because it's so uncomfortable. Like, it starts to get uncomfortable because you start to enter their world and you start to kind of leave your world, like here, like just normal what you are. I just feel like there's a whole shamanic side of life that is completely ignored, like completely, to the point where people just sound crazy when they say, hey, I became friends with this plant, I got to know the personality of it and I learned from it, people would say you sound crazy, oh, they take you to different worlds, like, to society that's crazy, but it's so real that it's more real than society. So like, TQ Rainbow says, I smoked salvia. Salvia is that is a motherfucker. Cause like, I've only done salvia 3 times. And it was my first psychedelic experience. Like, it was my very first time I ever did a psychedelic. And then the second time I did a psychedelic, I smoked DMT. So, and like DMT is like salvia with love. Like, there's love to it. And they're like nothing alike, but they are in the sense that they kind of only last for 5 minutes and you feel like you're out of your body. But salvia kind of just sucked. And truthfully told, maybe it's because I smoked it and I heard that the shamans just take the salvia leaves and they slowly chew on them, which gives a different experience that lasts about 40 minutes. But smoking salvia, I don't think I learned a damn thing. Besides, I don't think I'm ever smoking it again. Because, like, it was just so weird and so, like, yeah, yeah. Bro said, Tiki Rainbow said, because he said he smoked salvia, says, thank you. It was great. I felt like it was a family connection I never had or knew about before. Bro, that's so crazy. That's your experience with salvia. And it just kind of shows that, like, just because we smoke salvia doesn't mean we'll have the same experience. Or just because we both smoke DMT or we both take mushrooms or we both whatever, it doesn't mean we'll have the same experience. Because I smoked it 3 times, and every single time I smoked it, it sucked. Like, it was just so shitty. So, like, and I guess maybe because when I smoked it, I had no knowledge of what psychedelics were. I thought I was just smoking fake weed, like a really strong fake weed. So I was fine with that because I was already smoking fake cannabis and fake, like all these different fake cannabis strains and, the fake weeds, the K2s, so I was like, yeah, that's great. So then I tried salvia, and like I came down from my first salvia trip, threw that shit in the garbage. Because like, yeah. But I guess it did. What's funny though is it did open my mind though. It did make me research that what the fuck was that? And that is what started leading me to the research, to then finding DMT, to then my friend Mike T telling me about the pineal gland. So then I'm researching on YouTube, what is the pineal gland? What is this? And like I started looking up death and all these different things, and it kind of happened from that salvia trip, showing me something that I was not ready for. But that eventually led me to researching on YouTube what is the pineal gland. And then you know how like YouTube has the recommended things? It was like the video said, what is DMT? And I was like, I don't know, what is DMT? Click. And that was that, bro. Like, and the rest is history, as they say, like for real. Because then that just led me to one video after another, researching, and then researching everything I could about DMT and shamanism, all these things, ayahuasca, just the whole thing. And then eventually I finally get DMT. And then that was that. That started my spiritual journey, or whatever you want to call it. But like, so maybe salvia did teach me something. Just in a completely different way. Dean Darklight says, I never wanted to try salvia. Never heard a good story of it. Right. The only good story I heard is basically what Tiki Rainbows just said. Because yeah, but it's definitely shitty. And it's not something I would ever want to do. Like, I remember I had an eighth of it. And it sat in my thing, like in my herb box or whatever, for like years. Eventually, I gave it to my friend Twiz, because I'm like, I don't want this. Solar Power African Vegan says, each time I've come back from a salvia trip, I'm like, why the fuck did I just do that? Fuck yeah, I feel you on that. Green Buds asks, do you still take Kratom? I do, and it is addictive, but so is coffee. It's literally part of the coffee family. Yeah, it actually is in the same exact family as coffee. But I do take Kratom. I have been tapering down though. So right now I'm down to 5 grams every dose. I was taking 5.8 grams every dose. And then tomorrow I'll probably go down to either 4.8 or 4.5, or like maybe tomorrow morning do 4.8, then in the afternoon take 4.5, and then the next morning I'll take 4.5, and then so forth and so on until I get down to like 4 grams. Like, I just wanted to lower my dose because I would notice that I started taking more and more. And then now I also don't take booster doses, because I would take a dose of Kratom, and then 2 hours later, I would take another 2.5 grams. And then, like, 2 hours later, I would take, or 2 or 3 hours later, I would take another full dose of Kratom. And then 2 hours. So, I was just kind of doing it all day. So, I kind of have this thing where it's like, I now only take it every 4 to 5 hours, and I'm lowering the dose, and I might keep lowering the dose. I don't know. Like, I haven't decided if I want to stop using it or if I'm just so whatever with myself that I'm like, do I have the mental strength to be able to just stop it and then restart it? Like, because I've been using Kratom every day for like 3 years now, like every day like that, where I'm taking the boosters and all that. So I don't know, I just feel like I'm such in a good mental space, you know, my energy, my whatever, that it's like the Kratom ain't hitting like it used to. Like, I used to love Kratom because it helps give this mental energy and this thing, but like, and I was also going through a breakup, right? So it was great, you know. Like, I don't think it's bad to use molecules while you're going through problems and shit. I just think it's about perspective. But like, I feel like I've never been better in life. So I'm like, maybe I can cut down on it until I actually get my Kratom up, because I'm just spending money to someone else's Kratom company, bro. Like, I used to sell my own Kratom. I used to have my own Kratom company. I used to get my Kratom straight from Kratom farmers in Indonesia. Like, I built a friendship with this dude. He was only 16 at the time, but his family ran a Kratom farm. So like, their Kratom is so much better than the Kratom I've been buying from this other company. And like, I feel like I've just was like, I didn't really care about getting it because I have to buy it in bulk if I get it from the people in Indonesia. So I'm like, no, I'll just, you know, I just buy enough Kratom to last me a month every month. But it's like, I'd rather get to a point where I'm just get my own Kratom and then it doesn't cost me anything. You know, like, I don't know. I prefer to get things in bulk, you know, like I do the same thing with cannabis distillates. Like, I just ordered 60 grams of some THC, and then I'm getting like probably like maybe only 10 grams of a different form of THC, which is a stronger form. And then there's this other molecule I want to get that's a cannabinoid. But Solar Power African Vegan says that sounds terrible with Kratom. Fuck yeah, bro. I mean, to each his own, you know, like I've kind of outweighed the pros and cons with myself, and I'm like, the pros outweigh the cons because it's a great tool, right? Like, it literally is like mental caffeine. Like, I have so many projects I'm working on, so many art projects. I'm writing a book, making music, making videos. You know, I'm also a father and doing all this, so much shit that it's like Kratom is a great tool. So I'm like, the pros outweighed the cons. But I feel like I'm starting to get that energy, that thing, without it. Like, I don't need it. I feel like, I don't know. And I kind of want to just test that to see, you know. I always look at it like, using a tool is fine. Using a molecule is fine. Some molecules are addictive. Some are not, you know. If it's benefiting your life and the pros outweigh the cons, then it's fine. But like, if the cons start outweighing the pros and there's not as much pros because now you're able to do some of those things on your own, it's like, well, I don't know. I got to figure out if the pros still outweigh the cons. That's why I use LSD the way I do. Like, sometimes I'll take LSD every 2 weeks. Like, I don't know. And sometimes I'll take microdoses during those weeks. You know, like, because it's such a magical tool. Like, it's a tool in another way. But like, if the cons ever started outweighing the pros, which it's funny, there's really no cons for me with that. There's not really any cons with psychedelics for me, because it's just part of my life. But some plants are different. Like I tried ketamine, and like, ketamine's dope. I prefer the high doses because like it gives almost like a psychedelic like experience. But like like, I definitely would not use that every day. Like even if I could. Like, I was doing MDMA so much in the end of 2020 and the like beginning of 2021. I was doing like a little too much MDMA, and there were so many cons, there was absolutely no fucking pros. And yeah, it kind of just fucked my mind up, fucked my shit up. So I stopped using it, right? I'm getting ready to do MDMA with my friends this next month on the 5th. So we'll be doing MDMA together. Like me, my friend, his wife, and our other friend. And that same night, like, I'm gonna be tripping with my one friend. So we're gonna trip at like 10 o'clock at night. And then when the trip starts to wear off, probably like 8, 9 in the morning, we're gonna then take MDMA with our other friends. But if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing MDMA. You know, so like, I just think tools are great when you're using them correctly. Drugs are nothing to play with because they can fuck your life up. Because I've been there. But just because I used MDMA incorrectly and it started fucking my life up, doesn't mean the tool is bad. Like, it's just the intention. I ate the shrooms. What's going on, bro? Dean Darklight says, use the plant, don't let it use you. That's where I'm at with weeds. Yeah, I feel you. That's a great saying in general. Like, use the plant, don't let it use you. That's so real, bro. Because, like, it's almost like these plants have their own consciousness, right? So it's like a person, right? You can, you know, like, I don't know how to explain it, but you should go into it where you're in charge, you're the one using it, instead of the plant using you. But because plants do use us. You know, I can see that the corn plant, right? You know, like corn on the cob, the corn plant used us to make it stronger, and it uses us to help it stay alive. Some plants build a relationship with humans, which then guarantees their lifespan as long as we're alive. You know, some of these plants out here might die. Like, some plants might go extinct because we don't give a fuck about them. Like, but it's like some of those plants might have built a relationship with the bees, right? Like, bees and plants have a certain relationship. Like, these certain things have a relationship where it's an even give and take. But if one side is taking more than the other, like, it starts to fuck up the thing. Like, if the bees found a way to get the pollen without vibrating on the plants and like spreading the plant's pollen into other plants, like if they found a way to get pollen, go back to the hive and completely clean the pollen off, like, and then go back to another flower, and then like whatever, the flowers would start to die. So there's a balance to it. So I think humans have to figure out their own balance with it. Like, and not every tool is going to work for everyone, but that's also why I think there's so much different shit. There's so many molecules that I use kratom, but there's another thing out there that someone else would use that's not Kratom that might do the same thing for them that Kratom did for me. But Green Butt says, I remember the first time me and my homie tried Kratom, he threw up, but I gave him like 2 or 3 grams. Yeah, you know what's so weird? Like, 2 or 3 grams is a good starter dose, but some people do throw up at that dose. Dean Darklight says, I want to do MDA. MDA is so much more beautiful than MDMA. It's more psychedelic-like, but it's also more dangerous on the fuck is it called? I think it's called the serotonin transport. So, like, the thing that transports serotonin, it can damage that, which can, like, which is not good. Like, MDMA can damage that as well, just not as bad as MDA can. So, it's like those drugs are worrying me, because it worries me that if someone did MDMA every week, multiple times a week for years, they might have permanent damage to their serotonin transport. Like, so, yeah. So that kind of worries me. Now, there's no scientific evidence to back that up, but that's just my common sense from thinking well, if that shit damages the serotonin transport, well, if you keep doing it over and over and over again, will the damage be not able to heal? But that's also why I've never tried Adderall or meth or whatever, because meth and Adderall work very similarly that MDMA works, but it's just dopamine instead of serotonin. So, like, meth and Adderall work on the dopamine receptors in that way, and MDMA works on the serotonin receptors in that way. So I always worry that if MDMA can damage the serotonin transport, well, can Adderall and meth damage the dopamine transport? Like, who knows? But, like, that's why there's some molecules and some tools that I'll never use. Some things, it's just because I know myself. Hold up, guys. Oh, shit. I gotta get going, but I appreciate y'all for joining. You know, just being here with me while I just ramble the fuck on while I'm high. I really appreciate y'all, for real. Oh, shit. My phone's about to die. Or maybe it won't work. I can't even get the stream to end because the phone's about to fucking